But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to episode 675 of the New York Knicks podcast. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing good. How you doing, Jay?
I'm all right. The season's wrapping up pretty quickly now.
Yes.
Which it seemed like, oh my God, the season's never ending. And now it's like, maybe we need a couple more days because half the team's injured.
Playoffs are pretty soon. So the Knicks played the Cavs last night, and in the second half, they lost the second half 71-45 and shot 1 for 15 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Bring on the playoffs!
Yeah, that was rough. It's I don't even want to get into it.
You don't want to get into the Knicks?
No, I was just gonna go into the whole like, why don't we just start resting some guys and like the Knicks pretty much have the 3 seed clinched. So
I mean, you could still, you have 6 games to go. In theory, you could still lose the 3 seed. I don't think there's any. Is it a bad thing if they lose the 3 seed?
Well, that's what I was just about to say. Who cares? Like, is there a huge difference between playing Detroit or playing Milwaukee? It's not like there's a huge gap. It's not like the difference between playing Milwaukee or playing Orlando, which you definitely want to do, but that's not going to happen.
So really, yeah. So the Knicks are not going to fall to the 5 seed. That is an impossibility at this point. So it's rather they stay in the 3 seed, which is most likely scenario, or they go to the 4 seed. Either way, they play Detroit or Milwaukee. The big difference here is if they make the second round, hopefully they make the second round, do you want the Celtics or the Cavs first? Which one do you want?
Honestly, I don't care because if they're going to win, it has to be both of those teams most likely, unless there's a huge upset. You're going to have to beat both of those teams anyway. So I really don't care what order.
I 100% care and 100% disagree with you. I feel like you always want the hardest team last because more can go wrong for that team before you play them. Like injuries, who knows? Maybe an upset. Who the heck? Maybe they get beaten badly. Maybe they have a really tough second round series that makes them a little more vulnerable in the third round. I would, despite getting spanked every time we played the Cavs this year, I would much rather play the Cavs in the second round than play the Celtics in the second round. I'd rather have the defending champs in the third round.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Celtics are leaning on a 37-year-old Horford and KP staying healthy. By the third round, that might not happen. So I could see the logic behind that.
Right.
Whereas
Either way,
Cleveland's a young team. They're probably going to be, even if they aren't fully healthy, they're so deep, it doesn't really matter.
They are really deep. Either way, you're not going to have home court in the second round either way. So that part doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't see any risk. I would just rather play the Cavs second round. I mean, what could happen, I mean, you never know in these playoffs. My guess is the Cavs have been goddamn on fire, especially from 3. They're shooting the lights out. Sometimes teams that shoot the lights out in the regular season fall back down to earth in the playoffs.
Houston.
Yes. Also, last night, Mitchell Robinson didn't play. He's resting. He's resting on back-to-backs. It was a back-to-back. They just went with the protocol of resting him. In the playoffs, he's going to play every game. Also, the playoffs are spaced out there's so much time between games, guys get healthy. Mitchell Robinson, you can get 30 minutes out of him per game. Maybe that can make a difference versus the Cavs. The Celtics are the worst matchup for the Knicks. And obviously, you hope you got to beat both teams. I would much rather face the Cavs. I'd much rather face the Cavs in the second round than the Celtics. First round, completely agree with you. Pistons or the Bucks, it doesn't matter. Both are tough matchups. Pistons are a tougher matchup than I'd like. I'd hope they'd be easier for the Knicks to beat, but they're not. I guess of the two of them, the Pistons or the Bucks, who do you give the slight edge to as the easier opponent?
The Bucks.
And
because
Dame is supposed to be back.
Dame is supposed to be back.
Yeah, the new rumor is that he'll be back. I mean, we don't know yet for sure, but there's a rumor now that he might be back for the series.
That's interesting because most people who get a blood clot are out for a few months, not like 3 weeks.
Well, he went to David Copperfield, and David Copperfield was like, "No more blood clot. Oh, it's gone." I don't know. I just saw a rumor that he might be back. That's all. And there's also a rumor on Twitter. And Twitter, there's never a wrong fact on Twitter.
I'm still gonna go Bucks.
Okay.
I don't think he's gonna be back,
Yeah.
and I think Giannis has a bad game, they lose. Giannis has a good game, they lose. Giannis has to be out of this world for them to win a game, and he'd have to do that like 4 times.
Is it crazy where the Bucks have fallen? Where like you legitimately are like, even if they have Dame back, you still think the Pistons are a tougher matchup?
Right. I mean, like their plan was like, okay, Kuzma will save the day.
I mean, if Kuzma goes off on you, fine. Kuzma beat us.
Yeah,
That's
it's not your
what
year.
you have to go with.
Yeah, it's
not your year. If Kuzma's gonna beat you, Kuzma's gonna beat you. Totally fine. The Bucks still have pretty. I guess their defense is terrible. Giannis is awesome. Can Giannis beat you by himself? Can the ref's gonna rig it so he can go to the line 37 times that night?
That's the thing. I would rather roll the dice with one guy trying to beat your team rather than Detroit, who's a more well-rounded team.
I also feel like so Giannis is obviously the main focal point in Milwaukee for a Bucks series. I don't mind Cat trying to guard him. I think Cat can do an adequate job. Cat did an adequate job against Jokic. Cat can do an adequate job against other big men.
Yeah, I mean,
he can. Legitimately, he's a big body. He did well in the playoffs last year. He's terrible in pick and roll coverage. He's not a great defender generally, but if his job is just to beat, the question, the fear is he gets in foul trouble versus Giannis. But like generally,
yeah. I mean, you put Mitch on him
job.
At the beginning. You could put Cat on Lopez and just be like, don't let him shoot a 3. He doesn't do much else at this point in his career. So, and it's just seriously, he'd have to score like 40, 50 points a game at this point for them to win.
James, like I can't believe Giannis averaged 70 a game against us in the playoffs.
Right. I mean, if he does, then kudos to him. Like,
I mean,
what can you do at that point?
The Knicks maybe Achilles heel this season has been teams that can get hot from 3. Mm-hmm. Detroit is a much better 3-point shooting team than the Bucks. So that regard, and the Pistons have guys on the bench that can shoot 3s. In that regard, they're a little more dangerous. The Knicks should beat either team. Like, if the Knicks do not win their first round series, Tibbs should be fired the next day. Like, you have to, barring major injuries from here. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brunson is supposed to be back on Friday, back on Saturday for Saturday's game, supposedly.
Yeah, it looks like right? they're like alternating games between Towns and Mitch, trying to get them both healthy. Brunson should be back. I believe McBride and Payne are close as well. The only question mark after that is Huck Porty. If the Knicks don't have Huck Porty, like, he shouldn't be the difference between winning and losing a playoff series.
Are you kind of fine if the Knicks don't have Campaign? Do we need Campaign?
I don't know.
Has he mattered? Has Delon Wright made you think maybe Campaign doesn't need to play?
Wright's been very good. I mean, I've been impressed with him.
He's not like offensive. He's not like some gifted offensive player, and he's an okay passer. He's an adequate. He's a better version of Elfrid Payton.
Yeah.
He's a version of Elfrid Payton that actually plays effective defense.
I'm fine if the bench rotation is Wright, McBride, and Precious.
You're forgetting actually. I was going to say you're forgetting one player who I think might be the Knicks' key to success in playoffs.
PJ Tucker.
Yes, PJ Tucker. I saw a post online where someone was like, "How about the Knicks sign Carmelo Anthony after PJ Tucker? What's the difference if the guy's not going to play?" Seriously,
they signed. Not only did they sign him, they gave him a 2-year contract after this year.
Well, no, it's this year and next year. It's the Knicks team option for next year, and the only reason that was done, there's somewhat weird machinations with the salary cap, the CBA basically. So he's going to be traded this offseason as part of like some kind of filler. Like, okay. They basically said to PJ Tucker, "Hey, will you get annoyed if we pay you money just to sit on the bench and be a cheerleader? We're not going to play you at all, and we're just going to use you in a trade in the offseason, but we'll pay you." And like at this point in his career, PJ Tucker's like, "Sounds great. That sounds great."
Yeah.
I mean, also like
TJ Warren, Knicks, I'd rather have, but
yeah, I mean, the Knicks would also say like maybe they knew they weren't going to play this next guy. They wanted a guy that like they can justifiably. They didn't want to be like. They don't want to basically do a trade in the offseason and the NBA be like, "You just signed that guy for trade purposes." Here, the Knicks would be like, "We signed PJ Tucker. We couldn't believe he couldn't get into a game. That's why we fired Tibbs." Okay, so who is the most important guy on the bench? Or maybe the most important guy of the team going forward. I have the most important guy,
Who's that?
Landry Shamet. And here is why.
Okay.
Here is why.
Okay.
He's the most important guy because everyone can do whatever they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mikal Bridges hopefully can have good nights, not like he disappeared against Cleveland. But if you look at the teams that are really good, the Cavs, the Celtics, OKC, what do they have the Knicks don't have? They have they all have real benches. They have a lot, and they have scoring punches from their benches. They have guys in the bench that can hit threes. Shamit, he really is the guy in the bench who could hit a bunch of threes. He hit 6 threes against Philly. He's the only guy. I don't have faith in McBride doing this. I think Shamit's the one guy who can kind of be instant offense. If he could, he's the one guy who could be an X factor off the bench. He comes. The Knicks are playing the Cavs. The Knicks are playing Celtics or whoever. He comes in, hits 6 threes on the bench. Wow, that's a huge boost for the Knicks offense.
This is my issue with Tibbs.
Yeah.
If a guy on the bench is doing really, really well, Tibbs is still stuck in his rotation. He's like, well, it's 9 minutes left in the quarter, time to pull this guy. And conversely, it's like, if the guy is just completely off, he's like, yeah, but he's supposed to go in at this point in the game. So I'm definitely not going to, like, I feel like Shamet and Payne are very streaky. And
Yeah.
at some point, if the guy doesn't have it, like, put in Wright instead. See what happens. But like, I feel like he's so structured with his rotations. He's like, these are my 8 for tonight. I'm not going to deviate from that ever.
Yes, I agree with that. But sometimes he also has faith. Like guys are just streaky. OG, first half against the Cavs, he was goddamn electric. Second half, he couldn't hit a shot. Guys just go in these, get hot, get cold. And because of that, just, he sees a guy cold. He's like, well, I'm not going to bench the guy. I think I can get hot in the second half.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between guys like OG and guys like Payne.
Right. Well, 90% of all minutes are played by the starting 5.
Well, that's been an issue all season too.
I'm just saying the only way the Knicks really do well in the playoffs is they really need some serious help from the bench. They need guys to step up like they never have. I don't think Campaign's going to be that guy. We're seeing something from Landry Shamet. He's looking solid lately. His defense is okay. He's been hitting threes at a much better clip. He looks like a guy who can actually contribute in the playoffs. I think also, my guess is playoff-wise, Tibbs is bought in that Shamet can contribute. I bet DeLon Wright plays over Campaign. I think Campaign's out of the rotation. McBride will play. It'd be great if they had someone who's like also, hopefully Mitch plays 30 minutes and hopefully we barely see Precious.
So the season's pretty much over because you just said Shamet's going to be the X factor in the playoffs. So this is getting pretty dark.
Well, I'm not saying he's a true X. I'm not saying like he's like. I'm just saying he is our version of who's the dude on the Cavs. What's his name? Ty
Jerome.
He's our Ty Jerome, or he's our Peyton Pritchard. He's our guy. He's the guy who can get the hot.
Yeah, I don't feel any better after you explain that.
Well, those two players are much better players.
Yes,
I don't know.
They are.
Who is our scoring punch from the bench? Like, who is a guy? Who's our microwave scorer? Who do we have? Do you think McBride's going to come in there and hit 6 threes? I think McBride hit 6 threes against Philly in a game around last year against Philly in January, I believe. That was pretty much it. Like, McBride is not an offensive. He's fine. I like McBride a lot, and I think he contributes in many ways. I'm just talking about a guy who can come in there who could just hit a bunch of threes from the bench. Like, not a guy who can drive to the bench. You just need a guy who could. In this day and age in the NBA, you need guys that can just hit threes from your bench to have a complete team.
Well, the Knicks are staggering Mitch and Towns probably through the rest of the season. But when the playoffs start, Hart will probably be moving to the bench.
Why do you think that, Jay? Why do you think we're playing it this way, but we're going to try a whole new experiment when the playoffs start?
Well, Tibbs said that Mitch is the starting center.
Cool. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, he's still on a minutes restriction. He's still working his way back, and Towns has been kind of banged up. So
he's been playing 20 minutes a night. How about play those 20 minutes with the guy you're going to start him next to?
Well, they're alternating. Towns has been missing games lately too. He's a little dinged up.
They've been healthy enough games together. There's not been a lot of minutes together. I don't understand it. You can't go out there in the playoffs and be like, "Hey, learn to play each other. We'll see how it goes in the playoffs. Putting you guys together."
You just don't understand 4D chess. Because how is the opposing team supposed to scout for something they've never seen before? Did you ever think about that?
Right. They can't like look up clips of like last year with Minnesota and be like, close enough.
Nope. Totally different.
Um, I think there's no yes, so it would make sense to move. I don't even think you can move Hart to the bench or move
Bridges.
Bridges to the bench. Just, you need to change things up a little bit. Okay, Tibbs is. I said it. I guess we missed the show last week. It's been 2 weeks. Bill Simmons this week said that Tibbs is on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why he said that?
Because he listened to our show?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, that's the only possible reason. I am not necessarily on board with getting rid of Tibbs, but there's no way in God's name he's back next season. Unless the Knicks pull off a crazy run in the playoffs, there is no way, because I think Leon is looking at this. And by the way, if you're curious, the Knicks are now like 7th or 8th in offense and 13th in defense. So the defense has gone up a lot. In the last 2 weeks, the Knicks are one of the, like, I think they're a top 5 defensive team.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess when you remove Brunson, you have Brunson and Towns are not great defensive players. If you remove one of them and add Mitch, it does make a big difference in terms of defense.
Yeah.
But where can you go higher in this team? Can you go higher in the offense or go higher in the defense? There's more. I think there's more to go. I think you could get the team to another level on offense, and I think that's what they're going to say. Like,
100%.
they're going to like Tibbs. He's doing what he can. He's not going to make this team the best defensive team in the league. It's just not possible with the players he has on the floor. But the offense can get a lot better. And if you like the Cavaliers offense looks so much better than it looked in the last 2 years. And I mean, maybe Kenny Atkinson taught everyone how to shoot threes, but like it just sometimes a coach can unlock stuff. And that's what I think the Leon Rose's bet next year is. I can't dramatically improve this team on like the starting lineup. So the next thing to do is try to improve the bench and change the coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense it to do that. I know he's got a great record. He's his first year here, the team exceeded expectations by so much, but there might be a ceiling.
I'm not sure if I'm on board with getting rid of him in the sense of like I think he has. And I made that argument just now. He's had so much success here. I might give him another season, but I just don't think like. Forgetting what I think should happen, I think he's 100% out. I think Leon's just going to be done with him.
I think the Knicks have done him a little bit of a disservice because yes, he could be playing guys on the bench more, but overall the bench is pretty weak. They left him pretty thin.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is that Leon's will just say like, "Hey, listen, Jake, can you hear me?"
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I have to my microphone. I think Leon will say, "Listen, we get Tibbs had trouble because the bench was weak. We can only improve so many things. We made it what we think is a winning starting lineup. We know we had more work to do on the bench. We're going to give him more time, or at least they should say that we're going to give him more time because we're going to improve the bench in the offseason. Give him more time. Give him another year, like make the bench better and see what he does with the better bench."
Yeah, I mean that does make sense because I do think they have enough wiggle room to add one or two pieces, and that might be just what they need to get where they need to go.
The two things they can do this offseason are, I mean, there are many things they can do, but the two major areas of move would be either you trade some of the starting pieces and try to go all in on basically the Giannis trade. Basically trying to like you package maybe two of the starters and get Giannis and see if that can take you to the next level, or you find ways to build the bench and using like kind of journeymen or like young players just haven't caught on elsewhere. Because you don't have much room to really sign a guy. Like you could sign guys to the mid-level exception or whatever. Mm-hmm. They don't have much money in terms of to play with, but you can still make this bench better.
Yeah. It came out that there was mutual interest between the Knicks and Kevin Durant this offseason.
I was hoping you'd bring that up.
So, is it? I think it's hidden near the back of the CBA, but every star has to be linked to the Knicks when they're on the trade block, right?
Right. By the way, even though the Knicks are almost capped out, if the Celtics are trying to acquire Durant, the CBA would allow them to trade Peyton Pritchard for Kevin Durant. That would be totally fine. The Knicks, on the other hand, not allowed to do anything to get him. I don't want Kevin Durant here, but like, how would they even get Kevin Durant here? What would the trade be?
Well, he makes 50 million, so I mean, I guess you could do OG straight up, or it would have to be
37. He's 37 years old.
Yes, he's 37 years old, so I think it would be one of the worst decisions ever. But you know, I don't think there's any legs to it because if it's not OG, it would have to be Towns straight up, or like a 2-for-1 with Bridges and Hart. Do any of those like?
So on the one hand, the Suns have him and Devin Booker and can't even get into the goddamn play-in.
Exactly. His teams have underperformed like 4 years in a row, and now he's 37. So
he's not getting better.
He's not getting better. I think it would be. Well, you're going to trade a 30-year-old for like a 30. He'll be 38 next season. Like that doesn't make sense.
So let's just. I think it's crazy. So Kevin Durant has played 62 games this year. So maybe he finishes like 65, 66 games, and maybe if his team was actually good, he'd make it to 70 games. He shot 52% from the field, 43% from three, 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Could the Knicks use these numbers?
He's really good, but although there was also rumor that he would leave, get bought out, and take like a minimum to go somewhere where he wants to go. I'll take Durant for $2 million.
Well, he can't be. He's a free agent this summer, right?
Oh well, yeah. Well, the rumor was he would take a minimum to play on like a contender.
Like he's just not gonna get paid next. He's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna take. By the way, not getting paid would be the most money we could ever dream of making.
Right? Yeah, not getting
Our
paid.
Our lifetime salaries combined would be the minimum salary. He's like, I guess I'm just gonna do a minimum salary.
Yeah, yeah.
So how many good years does he have left? Because it's weird, like the sense of like, LeBron is 40 now.
Yeah.
Like he definitely takes players off on defense, or lots of players off on defense, but still produces at a pretty high level, right? He's not LeBron of old, but he's pretty darn good. Can Durant play well for 3 more years?
I'd say probably 2, but who knows? I mean, players last a lot longer now, but.
And he's a shooter, so it's not like he's gonna go blind. Like his touch is gonna be there.
On the other hand, like this is all wild speculation at this point. But if the Knicks could sign him at a minimum, he'd have so much.
Sign him at the minimum, yes, it'd be no brainer.
He would have so much around him that he wouldn't even have to be Durant.
If the Knicks go all in and make a big trade for him, it might be kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
If the Knicks sign him to a minimum contract, we're going to give a preemptive parade to Leon Rose.
Right. I mean, it would be like the Warriors all over again.
I don't know if it'd be that, but it would definitely be.
You don't think adding Durant into that starting lineup with Towns and Brunson would?
It'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty good.
I mean, they would score like 130 a game.
What was your reaction? Like we root for the uniform. We don't root for the player. But we obviously root for the player also. But like, to get a player you haven't been the biggest fan of all these years, and in many ways have said some of the moves he's made are like, really? He's gonna lose to Golden State and then go join them. He's gonna go to the Nets because they're hipper. He's made some moves where you're like, he's a net, and like after they paid him not to recover from his injury for a whole year, he's like, now trade me. Made a lot of moves where you're like, what the hell? He's a malcontent. How do you feel about that guy being a guy now you're like, I'm all in to root for?
I've ragged on him a bit, but I don't.
A bit?
Yeah, I don't actively dislike him like I do, say, like a James Harden. Like I could talk myself into a Durant. I could not talk myself into a James Harden.
James Harden said, "I will play here for vet minimum next year."
No,
you would say no.
I can't root for him. I just can't. I can't.
I would have you, Jay. I would let Trump deport you to any jail cell in any foreign country to get one of those two guys on a minimum contract on the Knicks next year.
There's certain players that
I'm calling El Salvador and reserving your jail cell.
There's certain players I just can't root for. It's just.
It would be hard to root for those guys. I would say I would say if I was a Celtics fan or a Laker fan
Hmm.
or just a team, those organizations, I'd be like, we've won so many titles. I don't need this hired gun to win us like this shitty, like, I don't need some like title we don't deserve. I don't need that bullshit. I'm a Knicks fan. If every all-star in the East said we're gonna take a minimum contract to play for the Knicks just to get one for this team, this city, I'd be all in. I don't care what that. If the NBA is like we're announcing that the refs are going to wear Knicks uniforms, it's fine with me. I want a title.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's been too long. It's just for me. There's certain like I would not be able to root for Embiid. Just can't do it.
Well, it's okay. The good thing is that if Embiid joined the Knicks, you'd never have to root for him because you would never be on the court.
So he's getting surgery this week. They expect a full recovery, and he'll be ready to go for the next season.
Is he gonna is he gonna go play in like the World Games or something like something where like I'm injured. I'm not really gonna be able to play, but the Olympics, I'm totally down. This is important to me. Not the team that pays.
You
me
know,
lots
I've
of
never
money.
won a summer league title. I think I'm going to go all out for those 3 weeks.
What do you mean Embiid's playing in like preliminary World Cup soccer game? Why would we do this? Uh, okay, so here's where we are. The playoffs are about to start. Oh, okay, what resting do you want the Knicks? You said you want the Knicks to rest players. What are you talking? Like, what are you hoping to have? Like, the minutes weren't crazy. Well, luckily the Knicks got stomped in the second half, so the minutes weren't so crazy. What resting do you think the Knicks should do? They give like
I either want a lineup like what the 76ers have been putting out for the last like 3 weeks.
you have to have everyone on your team injured to do that.
Are they injured? I don't. At this point, I don't believe that all these guys are injured.
I think they're all injured. I mean, like Embiid's having surgery. Jared McCain would clearly be playing if he wasn't injured. Paul George is always injured. Who else? Tyrese Maxey. I don't know what the deal with Maxey is, but
I mean, you're telling me like Maxey and Oubre and any player you've ever heard of, they started Justin Edwards, Adam Bona, Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, and Ricky Council. How many of those players have you even heard of?
I know
Lonnie
Walker
Walker.
hit a three, and I was like, why did we find this dude?
I mean, anyway, I would either want
And then you're watching that game being like the Philly can only even suit 9 guys. They only have 9 players that can even be suit up for the game. That's all they have. They're all basically G leaguers, and I'm like, wow, I wish we had a bench that deep.
Yeah, sometimes these teams sit like 8 guys, and you're like, how are they still deep enough to put anybody out?
Yeah, they still look deeper than the Knicks. This is unbelievable.
But anyway, yeah, I want to see a game with like Daddy Beauchamp, Kolek, McCullough, and
Did you know
Payne starting.
that Tyler Kolek is better than Magic Johnson was in his rookie season? Sorry. Was better than Magic Johnson was in his MVP season?
That's what I've been hearing is assist to turnover ratios like all
It's
time.
unbelievable. I can't believe Tibbs is not playing Kolek 48 minutes in the off days. He should be playing every day.
So either I want
He should
that
be
or
holding extra games for Kolek to play.
to answer your question, I either want that or I want like the starters all capped at like 24 minutes.
There was someone that was arguing with Jay on Twitter pretty recently that the reason that Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina did not work out was not that the Knicks didn't like. The Knicks always get crap for Tibbs gets crap for not playing the rookies, but this is pre Tibbs, and apparently the problem was that they played Ntilikina and Knox too much. That was the problem.
Yeah, that
Too
was
many
the
minutes,
new
too
wonderful
little
argument.
minutes.
They ruined them by throwing them into the fire and giving them too many minutes. That was a new one.
Yeah, but now the only coach we've had in the last 20 years that's actually been, I guess at least since Woodson, in the last 15 years, who's actually been a decent coach and actually has developed and it was a better coach than Woodson was. The only guy that really has developed any players, we're assuming that he has no idea what he's doing with Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, Mr.
Kolek looks decent, but he clearly was not ready for the NBA. He was not ready to like dominate the NBA when the season started, and he's looking okay. He's not getting. He's making some nice passes, some nice assists. He looks like a guy they can develop. stop acting like it's crazy that Tibbs is still playing him 20 minutes a night at most.
Are you telling me that you think Tibbs knows more than Abe57360 on Twitter?
I'm sorry, Abe5630. What it would be, it potentially is the next Knicks coach. It's also like it's forgetting the idea. Obviously, the coach who's had so much success in the NBA knows a lot more than random Twitter user. Do you really think this guy is it crazy to go like, hey, DeLon Wright, he had some defense. Maybe have him with the starters because the starters already have a lot of offense, and put Tyler Kolek, a playmaker, with the bench when you kind of need a playmaker with the bench. Maybe that's a logical move also.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Pack home Dadier. I think the general consensus is that he is a project and he's not ready this season. The Knicks see him in practice. My general understanding is they just don't think he's ready to contribute.
I'm just saying if the Knicks, I think if the Pacers lose the next 2 games, the Knicks have clinched the 3rd seed. So I'm saying if that happens, the last 3 games of the season, maybe give everybody a week off to heal up or whatever.
No, you're not wrong. The Knicks, currently what do the Knicks have left? The schedule from here.
The Knicks have 6 games left. They're up by 3, and they have the tiebreaker. So even if the Knicks go 2-4, the Pacers would have to go 6-0.
Right. I mean, also, so the Knicks got from here. They have Atlanta. You could try to win that game. You have Phoenix. Try to win that game. You have Boston, Detroit, Cleveland. Those 3 games, do you really need to go all out?
Just beat Atlanta and Phoenix. Be like, yay, we clinched the 3 seed, and then just shut it down for a week and a half.
And then Brooklyn, the last game of the season. I mean, in fairness, Tibbs, there's something about Tibbs' idea of we go all out the entire season. If you remember last year, the meaningless game to end the season, they went to overtime to beat Chicago and get their 50th win of the season.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool in the sense from there, they were kind of all in to play Philly. But maybe if they took that game off, they'd still be all in to play Philly in the first round.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. But the playoffs are so when do the playoffs start? The weekend of the 17th.
That's pretty quick.
Oh wait, yeah, it has to be around then because the season ends on the 13th. Then you have the play-in tournament that week. By that Friday or Saturday, I'm sure it's maybe that Saturday the playoffs start.
That's coming up really quick. Yeah, so the play-in is the 17th.
Oh, the play-in is the 17th.
Play-in is the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Oh, okay. And then when's the first round?
First round is... good old ESPN doesn't even have the schedule up.
Okay, so after that, late April.
Yeah, probably the 19th. I would think. I can't see them taking that whole weekend off. It'll probably be the 19th, not with the play-in teams.
Yeah, 19th or 20th, I guess. So we can talk whatever the moves the Knicks need to make in the offseason. Okay, so playoff rotation. What's your playoff starting lineup? You're assuming that the Knicks will try things out they've never tried before for the playoffs.
It is the 19th, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, I do think they're gonna start Mitch.
Okay. I mean, I like that idea. I think it's great. I think you might want to try that before the playoffs start, just to I don't think teams will be like, oh my God, we've never seen this look before. How will we ever defend it?
Well, maybe that's what's going on in Tibbs' head. I don't know.
There are some things I also want to see. I like Cat. His I get his pick and roll defense is never going to be good. I think he's going to be better next to a center like Mitch. I complained about this before in the show. Can he stop blindly driving to the basket?
Yeah, well, the thing is...
He's not the fastest player ever. He doesn't have this amazing move to the basket. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes, what's the more efficient shot for him? Sometimes him going to the basket is not an efficient shot. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't have the stats here. If we were a Better Dicks podcast, we'd have the stats on here. But his stats, his efficiency on finishing on drives to the rim cannot be that great.
I think part of it is he gets hit a lot and just never gets a call.
Right, yes. I made a comment on Twitter today that if he had SGA's whistle, he'd need to get his mail delivered to the free throw line. He'd be there so often. But at the same time, he's not getting the calls, and the calls aren't going to get. You don't get more calls in the playoffs, so he's going to get fouled on these drives. It's going to be a factor. Can he alter his game a bit so he's not always just driving like wildly to the basket?
I think, I mean, in theory, if the refs actually call some of these things,
But
it
they're
is
not
a
going
good
to.
strategy.
No one the calls don't go up in the playoffs. The calls go down in the playoffs. They don't go up.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe
It's not fair.
it's
This is
not.
what you're playing with.
I
So
know.
just freaking figure out how to deal with it. Something the Towns needs more in his bag. He shoots the threes are great. He had he was there was one play he did I think it was it must have been it was in the it was obviously in the Philly game in the Cleveland game where he kind of did like a turner like a little turnaround jumper that looked awesome. He's got to just sometimes drive to the basket like all in. Sometimes take it a little slower. Do some moves around the basket. You have insane size. Also, if other teams are going to put their center on Josh Hart and put their wing on you, you have to be able to eat them alive.
I think he's going to take more outside shots in the playoffs because Mitch is going to start, and he's going to be in the paint, so that'll leave more outside opportunities.
That'll leave
for
even
Towns.
less spacing. That'll be awesome. Oh, we have Mitch. We have Josh Hart. We have no one that can shoot threes. See how it goes getting to the paint.
Hart will be on the bench.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, not that I want. I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, Cat needs to be able to figure out how to. Cat needs to have games where Cat's got to score over 30 points a game in the playoffs.
I'm not
He
worried
can't
about
be, like,
Cat.
disappearing.
I'm not worried about Cat.
I'm worried about Cat. I'm worried about Cat because, like, if you watched last night, like, Jared Allen, like, blocked the shit out of him on a drive to the basket, where you're like, hey, you're not always this fast. Have some other moves.
Maybe
Might-
maybe in the week they rest everybody, they could have Hakeem show up and show him some post moves.
Exactly. What do you think they will have learned with Brunson comes back? How do things change with Brunson back? Like, does Tibbs learn from the time without Brunson? Do they figure out how to take this team to the next level because we learned how to play without Brunson?
No, it's back to exactly the way it was.
Tibbs has learned nothing.
No. I mean, hopefully he's learned that Wright should be playing.
I mean, Wright would be a solid, but at the same time, is it a problem if McBride just takes Wright's minutes? I mean, McBride's better than Wright.
Well, I was thinking McBride and Wright instead of Payne.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah, I don't need Payne out there. Yes, I agree. Payne does not need to play. I like Shaman because he gets some threes, but yeah, Wright showed us something that definitely like. But do you think he learns in the sense of like maybe he gives Bridges the ball more with the second unit, gives him more time to cook without Brunson on the floor?
I would love if that's what he learned. I think it's going to look exactly the same.
It just seems like Tibbs does not know how to use all the offensive firepower he has to the most efficient way. He has not figured out how to best utilize this offensive
Well,
firepower.
this is why he might be on the hot seat.
Not might, but he is.
You know, last game, did you see how many shots Bridges took?
I wasn't aware. Did he play in the Cleveland game?
I
saw him on the court. I know. I watched the entire game. Did Bridges play? I didn't know.
The only player who took less shots was Kolek, who played 14 minutes. He took
I don't
six.
understand
He
how
took
Bridges
six
was
shots in 34 minutes.
I don't understand how they completely. How is he not involved?
I don't know.
Josh Hart took 9 threes. and Bridges took 1. How is that possible?
You look at the box score and you're like, what the hell happened? What were they doing?
It was the first half. The Knicks were up by like 10 through the entire first half, and it got like maybe it was up by 7 at halftime. But the Knicks were up the whole first half. But you kind of felt like the Knicks were like, you're like, at some point the Cavs are gonna go on a run, just take the lead. Like this doesn't. I do not feel good about this lead.
No, definitely not. I think
Also,
they were
the
even up by
Cavs-
15 at one point, but
Yeah, though they were. The Cavs, their shooting is goddamn ridiculous.
yeah.
Everyone could free, and they didn't even shoot that well from 3 last night. Their shooting is ridiculous. What was it, the third quarter? Was it the third quarter where the Cavs shot 15 for 15 from the 2?
Yeah, that's where I turned it off.
Like it's like you couldn't defend the paint at all.
No, they just it went from like, oh, the Knicks are up by 5, they're keeping it competitive, to, oh, this is a blowout in like 5 minutes.
It's crazy also. So if you look back at the sketch, like if you look back Okay, like we're acting like it's Armageddon, like everything's terrible. Like they lost to Cleveland, but this is their previous 6 games: win, 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 loss, win, win.
Hmm.
They won 5 of 6 games going into that game, and we're like,
Without
God,
Brunson.
this team's terrible.
Yeah, without Brunson.
Without Brunson, I mean, but they beat Philly, Portland, yeah, Milwaukee, They lost to LA, beat Dallas, Milwaukee. They're not like real. They're not amazing.
It was a
wins.
very easy part of the schedule.
Yes, and they lost to Charlotte and San Antonio.
Yeah.
Also part of the easy schedule. We have
Yeah.
some questions. Let's do some questions.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way,
Yeah,
we
no,
lost
I-
our bet because of the Charlotte and Spurs games.
Where are we with before we go into the questions? Where are we with our bets?
So the only one still open is the Memphis one. They
Okay.
If they go 3-3 or worse, we win, and then we went 4 for our season bets.
4 for 8. You mean?
4 for 8. 4 for 8.
Okay, so we win. We bet $200,
And we'll get
win
$200.
$200.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, some of those were like we bet the over on Dallas, and we didn't know like they were going to trade Luka, and then their whole team was going to get injured. So
We didn't know Nico bet the other way.
right, exactly. So I'm not really like
Well,
can't really knock us for that one.
Memphis fired their coach because they weren't happy with how the season was going. So
Yeah.
Memphis 2 weeks ago they were the number 2 seed in the West.
I
Now
thought
they're the
I thought
8th
that
seed.
bet was done, and now I'm like they only need to go 3-3, and they have like 4 tough games, and we win our bet. Okay.
How's their second? Do you have their second set of bets?
Yeah, I have them written down here.
Did we bet each other direct? What did we do with those bets? Did we bet? I don't remember what we did.
I think we just did a burger bet because it was looking pretty dark for our other bets, so we didn't want to like throw more money into it. So yeah, I think we just did a burger bet. So
Okay,
we
what
each
did
we each made a
We
few
took
more
4
bets.
teams, right?
Yeah, which I am trying to find right now, and I'm not having. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So we had Minnesota over 51.5. I don't know why.
Over 51.5?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
That's over. That doesn't even make sense. And they have been playing well lately.
Yeah.
Okay, well we lost that because the next one. Because they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. We made these bets like 20 games ago.
No, I think that sorry. That was
That's,
I'm doing a bad job at this. That was our before the season bets, I
that
believe.
makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we would have done that. Why don't you read a question while I look for this?
Okay. Well, okay. Okay. Daniel writes, his comments. I think McCall was bad in the Cavs game because he was tired. Clear, he had no energy. People have pointed out that all the Knicks games against these best teams in the NBA are all the second night of back-to-backs. The NBA schedulers kind of screwed us, though not in fairness, the NBA schedulers also didn't know like Cleveland would be one of the best teams in the NBA. But
They
like,
knew they would
kind
be
of-
good. They knew that.
No, I mean they were a first round exit the last 2 years, so like no one, you wouldn't think like you're screwing a team by making them your second, whatever. Daniel also writes, there was no spacing whatsoever with Hart and Wright, and at times Achua, and Cavs just collapsed in the paint, not allowing Mikhail to cook. That's fair. And Cat at the 5 and playing pick and roll defense. Ugh. Cat is just I just don't think you can win in the playoffs with Cat at your 5. You need 30 minutes from Mitch. If we can get that, that'd be huge. Saved by Grace writes, why did Robinson play against Philly and not against Cleveland? Robinson is sitting the second night of back-to-backs. That's just the rest plan for him going forward. Daniel writes, what are the chances we can meet the Cavs in the second round? Think our chances are much better against them with Mitchie and Brunson back. I 100% agree.
Mhm.
If anything, maybe the Knicks want to do what Jay said and play 48 minutes of Pacome Dadier. Like, go all in on the bench lineups so we can get to the 4th seed. Like, you're probably better off being the 4th seed here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do 6656 NY, who's interviewing to be the Knicks coach after he writes, why does Bridges always seem to disappear in big games? He had big games against the bottom dwellers of the league. Yes, that is In fairness, that's true. He hasn't had too many actual big games. He seems to play well when the opponents are not as good. But that's the whole team. The whole team does that.
Yeah.
Maybe Bridges is disappearing. Maybe the Knicks aren't using him as effectively as they could. Also, Daniel, who commenter of the show, as he commented both on Facebook and on Twitter, he writes here, "What are your thoughts here? Mitchie is really needed against this Cavs team. Cat pick and roll defense is atrocious. Good knees be damned." And then, can Achua stop pretending to play like Randall and taking shots he has no business taking? He's been extremely frustrating in all 2025. To his first point, yeah, Cat is just going to look. I mean, Minnesota had him for years and was like, we need Rudy Gobert next to him. We need Mitchell Robinson next to him. It just doesn't work as well. What do you think of Achua putting on his moves, like his lefty hooks?
I mean, sure, try it. I mean, we knock players who like don't do anything. I'm not going to knock him for like trying something.
OG has looked really good on offense lately.
For weeks now, yeah.
For weeks now, like basically he's realized that we don't have as much offensive firepower. More is needed of him, and he's looked a lot better. And he's been trying moves. He's been trying Euro steps. He's been doing all these. He's been doing a lot, basically. Driving to the basket more, using his size. So, as Jay just said, I have no issue with Precious trying these things. It's not going to cost us too many games. Maybe Precious can unlock something by getting more confidence in getting some of these moves. Precious is never going to be a starting player. He's really just there if Mitch can't play enough minutes.
Yeah. Is that it? I found our bets.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our second set of bets. We just did a burger bet on this one. I had.
By the way, burgers are now $8,000 a piece under our new under the new tariffs.
That's why I held out for all these burgers you owe me.
Okay.
So I had Denver over 52.5, which I believe is out of reach now.
Yes.
So I lost that one. I had Philly under 32.5. They didn't even come close. I definitely won that.
Wow. Wow.
Boston under 59.5. They would have to go 4-2.
Yeah, you might lose that one.
I'm probably going to lose that one. And Milwaukee under 46.5. They would have to go 5-0. So I probably got that.
You're good.
I'm looking at 2-2 probably.
You're looking at likely 2-0, maybe 3-1. How am I doing?
You're doing much better. You had Detroit over 41.5. You already won that.
Oh, wow.
Phoenix under 40.5. You already won that.
Jesus Christ, Phoenix.
San Antonio under 39.5. You already won that. And Orlando under 41.5. You are going to win that unless they go 5-0.
Oh, I'm gonna get this juicy burger. I'm gonna get a burger imported from whatever country has the highest tariff.
You actually owe me 3 burgers, so I'm just taking a burger away from your
Go
burger
after yourself.
count. Now you just owe me 2 burgers.
I think there's a burger statute of limitations. Fine, whatever. Cool. Okay, so the Knicks have one more week. So, okay, should the Knicks try to get to the 4th seed? Tibbs will never do it. So the move.
Tibbs will never do it. I think he should be very cautious with the minutes going forward. There's only 6 games. I don't think there's a big difference. Like, okay, you play Boston, you play Cleveland. They're both very tough matchups. Like, I think it's worth preserving the starters' minutes. Maybe you fall a spot. Maybe you unlock something.
Maybe it's time to see what Kevin McCullough can do at 40 minutes a game.
Maybe it is. It's not like
he
every
got
other
a point. Did he get a point? I thought he got a point the other night, maybe 2 games ago. He's the rookie. He's the guy from the draft. The Knicks hadn't. He was injured all year, so the Knicks hadn't played him yet.
And Anthony says, "What am I going to do when Mark and Jay hang the gloves on this podcast? Should Andrew and I take over? Maybe they could license their podcast to us." I mean, I would listen.
Yours.
I would listen.
I'd listen. I'd 100%.
We're going to hand you the keys to the New York Knicks podcast empire.
Like, I was thinking, I definitely don't want to do regular shows anymore. I think I'm out on that. Should we do a monthly show, like once a month? But then again, what's even the point of doing that?
Because we still want to talk Knicks, just not every week.
Yeah, we could do it next season, maybe once a month.
What's going to happen? Our numbers are going to go down? Ooh.
I'm still just talking to Jay, really. That's it.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe the show goes down to monthly.
Yeah, really just like really pushing it. Okay, once on February 7th, we do a show, and then we just go into the following February 7th.
It'll be like J Lo's music. We'll do a post every 6 months.
J Love's music reviewed Pinkerton by Weezer today. I am going to start a protest movement to cancel J Love's music because his review of Pinkerton was just terrible. Pinkerton is an amazing album. I don't know how Jay doesn't see that. I'm not talking to you, Jay. I'm talking about the writer, the guy who writes J Love's music, not you, Jay.
It was a riot. I mean,
it was awesome. But how did you miss the album? In your review, you're like, I must have missed this album. You missed their second album?
It came out in September of '96, which is when I went to college.
So you are this hardcore fan of music. Mm-hmm. Every obscure band from Europe, you have 17 of their albums. Mm-hmm. But when you went to college, you didn't listen to music?
I listened. I mean, it's not like I had the radio or MTV.
You didn't have a radio in college?
No, we listened to CDs.
Oh, you did. Weezer was a pretty big band. Not that they were like the Stones or anything like that, but they were a big enough band that people are like, "Oh, I'm curious about their next album."
I don't know.
And you are a big Weezer fan apparently, but didn't care about the second. Okay, stop.
We all listened to whatever albums we brought to college, and it came out after we got there. So...
By the way, this is also like when Napster was around, where you could get every song for free. By the way, like we were in college during Napster.
I don't think in '96. I think Napster was like 98, 99.
98, whatever. You were in college then too.
Well, yeah, I heard it eventually. It's not like I just found it like last week. Like I didn't listen to it in '96.
Weezer put out a song after Buddy Holly.
When I say I didn't listen to it in '96, I didn't mean it took me 20 years. I meant like I found it in like '98.
By the way, next week Jay's going to review another album he had never heard of before called Abbey Road. He didn't know the Beatles had other albums.
They made an album after Help. What the hell?
Help. Anyway, going back to the Knicks. Okay, we got more games coming up. We got more Knicks podcasts. We're going to have the playoffs coming up. We're pretty excited for that. Maybe there'll be multiple episodes in a week because of the playoffs.
If you like that little back and forth, our other podcast is The Brink of Sanity. That's pretty much a whole episode of that.
They're canceling this show to put on that show? What the hell?
Yeah, we really are. That's exactly what we're doing. And we're NY Knicks Podcast on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, and we are nyknickspodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us. And yeah, so The Brink of Sanity is our other show. You can Google Brink of Sanity
We record that
podcast.
once every... We barely record that show. We have a new show coming soon for Brink.
I did an episode last week without you. I interviewed an ex-Playboy Playmate, so you can check that out. Check out that interview. Mark will be available for an episode soon.
I said to Jay simply that he did a great interview with this woman, and I wanted to do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 reviewing that episode, but Jay didn't like my idea.
And Andrew's idea is one episode every solar eclipse.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Anyway, Knicks are going to win 50 games again soon.
Yep,
so
they are.
They're going to win 2 back-to-back 50-year win seasons. They're in the playoffs again. That's a regular event now. The team, their core is 27, 28, 29 years old. Brunson's about to come back. It's good times in Knicks world.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will be back next week. Goodbye, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You cannot go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, 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 everybody.
All right. I should just post something in the chat as soon as we do an episode because that made Anthony and Andrew pop up.
Wow. Yeah. Do that. What? Yeah, do that from now on. You
Because
figured it
I
out.
usually don't do
You
that.
got the unlock.
Yeah, exactly. It's the summon our two fans button.
That's awesome they were on. I'm gonna miss them. But maybe we could figure out doing like a less often show.
I think a
I do-
monthly isn't a terrible idea.
I mean, again, you said that not like the show, not like the numbers will go down. I do enjoy doing the show. I just can't do it every week anymore as an obligation. But like, if we were gonna talk once a month, have an hour show about the Knicks.
Well, it's also like since we have to record less, I really I want to do more Brink, and we feel more obligated to do the Knicks. So if we felt not obligated to do the Knicks, we could do more Brink.
Right, right. And I also feel like we would never end up doing Brink every week, so it'd still be I know there's some weeks like it's easier to do, and some weeks it's not as easy to do.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, there would definitely be more Brink, like 2 or 3 a month. Like, what happened? Yeah,
sorry, I hit my microphone.
Yeah.
I was saying you'd be so pissed if there was less Brink.
I'd be so mad. I'd be like, that's it, quitting both shows, shutting it all down. 3 basket cases all the
Motherfucker.
way.
No, I'm totally down. I mean, I have fun. I mean, like, I assume at this point we barely do this for an audience anymore, except for like some very loyal fans. So I just want to have fun talking. So.
The problem is every time we switch servers because of those stupid networks we joined, I think it unsubscribed everybody because every time we switched feeds, our numbers would go in like half. We went from like thousands to hundreds in between those two networks. It was like,
Whatever.
well, now we know, like never ever do that. But it's too late. But now we
Jay,
know.
would you I have a question. If you had the power to go back in time, but you only had two options, you could one go back in time and I guess save JFK, or go back in time and save the podcast. What would you do?
Well, you know, I'd pick the podcast. Like, don't join the Almighty Baller Podcast Network.
There's a comedian who has a joke about he's like Jewish, and he's talking about like every Jew has the dream of going back and like time, like if they had the option to go back in time and kill Hitler. And he goes, you know what would happen to me if I went back in time and to kill Hitler? I'd get killed by Hitler. That's what would happen.
Right.
He's like, why would I have the ability to get him?
Right. You wouldn't even get close to him.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm back. Yeah, we all know Hitler's a problem. Fuck.
Is
This was
yes.
your plan?
Yes. Almighty is that Chris dude. And that was the beginning of the downfall of our numbers.
Can we contact him and get him on our show?
He disappeared into the void. There's no way to contact him.
I would love to find out what happened with his what happened to him since. I'd love to hear his story. We can do a whole documentary on him.
Because I think we went from like, I guess it doesn't matter to reveal that. We had like 2,500 downloads an episode. And then we joined that network and it was like 1,000.
It
And
went downhill a little bit. Yeah.
I was like, why? And he's like, oh, just the server you're using is more accurate, and the other hosting site was padding your stats. I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me at all.
It all went really downhill. Yeah, he unsubscribed us and did all these problems. People found us anyway, but
300
it was
episodes fell off the feed. That's why they're on the Patreon now.
he didn't know what he was doing, but we didn't know what we were doing because we were like, oh, it sounds like a good idea.
He talked a good game. I actually met up with him in person, had a beer with him. He told me his whole plans, and he talked a great game. And I was like, oh, this sounds great.
Well, it's not like he tried to con us. He just tried to do it, but he had a business idea that didn't work out. Lots of people have business ideas that don't work out.
Yes.
We won. It's not like we lost anything really, but
Except like
yeah.
60% of our audience.
Are you going to did you pay by the you're going for your game? You're gonna get the prototype.
I think I'm at least going to get the prototype. I don't know if it.
Does your wife, does Kat want to kill you yet for doing this?
She's getting there. She's getting there.
Okay.
But I mean, with the price of this new place, the potential profit is so much. I mean, we're talking like, you know.
I it's not that I don't think the game's. I think the game generally is a fun game to play. Maybe we could improve the card slightly, whatever. It's that I think it's getting an audience to play the game. I think it's tough.
I think I just need to put out a couple ads with like people reading the cards and playing.
I think that's true. Yes, I think your ads were not amazing. Not in the sense of like they're fine, but like if you had people playing the game, I think it would look better. Yeah.
What Peter's idea, and I don't think his wife will ever let him do it, was to pick the most vulgar, horrible card on Would You Rather, have him holding it up, reading it, and then he moves the card away from the screen and he's reading it to his 2-year-old son.
That's funny. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that. That's funny. Yeah.
I think that would be very funny. I don't think she'll let him do it, but if he does, I think that's something that would like get spread around and like
They have a 2-year-old.
they
Well,
have,
they have an old. How old? They have 2 kids or 3 kids?
they have 2. The kid's probably like 5 at this point.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say because I just figured their second kid had to be a little older than 2. That's all.
I have no idea.
That's
I'm
funny
a great
though.
friend. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I'm gonna ask him about that. I'm gonna talk to him this week. I'm gonna ask him about it. Anyway,
You
it's
can make funny commercials. Like I
Yeah.
think the 2 things you have to have catchy commercials. I feel like I'll have to spend a lot of money on these ads.
you do, but if they're catchy, they'll get
You spend less, obviously,
yeah,
but like
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I figure worst like bare minimum, I get the new prototype, and then I can make my decision either way. But like, I don't want
Can
to
you-
wait a month.
can you get the board to put $750 a day to your game?
I mean, if we're giving money away, why not?
If you're giving money away for no good reason, can I get in on this?
It's getting late, but Kat is has a work trip for the next like 4 days. So are you available to do Brink anytime like this between tomorrow and like Tuesday?
I might be able to do one early on Saturday. I probably can do one early on Saturday. I have to whatchamacallit? It depends on what time I drop. We're going to a bar mitzvah Saturday night.
Mhm.
Morgan's staying over my in-laws Friday night, and Zach is going to go play with my father-in-law pickleball early. I need to stop by and see my dad. My stepmom's back in the hospital, but
Oh, sorry.
I think I might have I might be having an hour. Like if you could do something like around maybe 11 a.m. or something like that. I might
Yeah,
if I can let you know my timing, I
Yeah.
might be able to do an earlier episode. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't have anything lined up Saturday, so
Because I'm not going to also be like the bar mitzvah's at 7. I'm just going to go with my dad for like an hour or 2.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say tentatively Brink Saturday,
I will text you. I will keep you posted on that. Where's Kat going?
Boston.
Oh, cool.
It's I don't know, some nurses association something. So
Good for her. Hopefully she has fun.
yeah, I think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be like a terribly fun trip, but
I don't know.
I think it's just gonna be like seminars and stuff. But yeah, hopefully it's decent.
Hopefully it's fun also.
Yeah.
Okay, I will try to work in. Depends on how. I'll let you know my time. I'll try to work in. I should be able to. I feel like I can do an episode, then get ready and go see my dad and have plenty of time before.
Okay. And there's gonna be a lot of Brink this month because if we do that, then we are doing.
There's another episode planned.
Well, we're doing a test episode of our horror movie podcast, and we're going to release it as a Brink episode next week.
The week of the 14th, my kids aren't here.
Okay.
Did I tell you that my in-laws they're taking my
Yeah,
kids to
yeah,
London and Paris?
Yeah.
It's that week, so they're leaving on the 13th. I'll probably play pickleball probably on the 14th, probably the 15th, 16th. I have time that week to do a. I can fit a Brink and do it early in the day or early past work, obviously.
Look at this. We might get like 4 Brink episodes this month.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Let me go now. I gotta go soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Thanks for joining, guys. We'll be back